He didn't leave her just a bookstore. He left her the keys to something far more dangerous.
The Cosmic Librarian. Chapter 1. Emma Caldwell never thought of herself as someone bound for adventure. She wasn't the type to chase mysteries or get swept up in grand destinies. But when her grandfather passed away and left her his house and the bookstore, Caldwell's rare and used books, everything changed. The shop had always been a relic of the past, tucked into the quiet streets of Hawthorne, a town so small that even Google Maps had trouble pinpointing it. As a child, Emma had loved visiting, running her fingers over the spines of ancient times and breathing in the scent of old parchment. But to her, it had always been more of a curiosity than a business. Her grandfather, Elias Caldwell, was a man of secrets. He spoke little about his past and even less about why he had chosen Emma, of all people, to inherit the shop. The truth was, Emma wasn't the most qualified. She had a degree in literature, but had spent the last 5 years working an uninspiring job as a copy editor for an online magazine that mostly reviewed kitchen appliances. She hadn't expected to be in his will at all, let alone be given sole ownership of the store. Her parents had been just as confused. Her mother, Elias's only daughter, had long abandoned Hawthorne for the city and had little interest in her father's obsession with books. Emma, on the other hand, had always felt an unspoken connection with him. As a child, she had asked endless questions about the strange leather-bound books in the back room, books with titles in languages she didn't recognize, books that hummed faintly when touched. Elias had always smiled and told her, "One day you'll understand." Now, standing in the dimly lit store, with the key still cold in her palm, she wondered what he had meant. Her grandfather's house sat just outside of town, nestled between towering oak trees that had long since swallowed up any attempt at a driveway. The house itself was as old as the bookstore, built with thick wooden beams and lined with windows that seemed more suited to a church than a home. Inside it was filled with artifacts, globes marked with places that didn't exist, maps with constellations she didn't recognize, and portraits of people she had never met. Despite its eerie atmosphere, the house felt untouched, as if Elias had simply stepped out for a moment and would return at any time. His reading glasses still sat on the desk, an old leather chair remained pulled out slightly, and a cup of tea had long since dried to a dark stain on the saucer. What had he been doing before he died? And why did it feel like he had been expecting something? There was something about the house that was complete, interconnected, and mysterious. Emma had a firm feeling that things should stay as they were, that everything had a place and a purpose. The house was definitely unchanged for a long time, behind the times and a little eerie, but Emma felt close to her grandfather here and decided that things should stay as they were. She spent a few days cleaning, straightening things up, and buying food. Tomorrow she would take on the bookstore. The front area of Caldwell's rare and used books was deceptively ordinary. The wooden sign hanging above the entrance was weathered but sturdy, its golden lettering dulled by time. A bell chimed softly as Emma pushed open the heavy oak door. Inside, rows of tall mahogany shelves stretched from floor to ceiling, packed with books of all sizes. Dust motes danced in the warm glow of antique lamps. There was an old cash register perched on the counter, one of those heavy brass ones that required a firm push to open. A notebook lay beside it, filled with handwritten notes in her grandfather's precise script. Curiously, the shop had no modern technology, no credit card reader, no computer, not even a landline phone. How had he run a business like this in the 21st century? The thought barely had time to settle before she noticed something else. A small stack of envelopes sat on the counter, each marked with her name. The top one, written in Elias's hand, simply said, "Start with this." Beyond the public area of the store, a narrow hallway led to a door marked private. It was locked. Her grandfather had never let her inside, though she had glimpsed its shadowy interior when he left it ajar. Now she had the key. The lock clicked open with unsettling ease. Emma stepped inside and immediately felt the temperature drop. The room smelled older than the rest of the shop, of parchment, candle wax, and something else she couldn't quite place. Unlike the warm, inviting front area, the back room felt hidden. The books here were different. Larger, heavier, bound in thick leather and metal clasps. Some of them had strange symbols on their spines. Others were completely blank. But what caught her attention most was the farthest wall. A towering bookcase stood against it, but unlike the others, this one was reinforced with iron bars and a lock that didn't belong to any modern locksmith. It was ancient, humming faintly with an energy she could feel in her fingertips. Emma reached out to touch it, only to feel the slightest vibration beneath her skin. She pulled her hand back, her heart pounding. What kind of books needed to be locked away? She didn't have the answer, but the weight of her grandfather's choice suddenly felt heavier. Emma had assumed the bookstore had barely scraped by, but as she sifted through its records, she found something strange. A steady stream of deposits had kept the business running, large amounts, transferred regularly, from an untraceable source. The bank statements listed them simply as private benefactor. Who was funding this place? And why? More importantly, what were they paying for? Emma visited the bank to get more information. The bank manager greeted her and ushered her into his office. Speaking a bit cautiously, he acknowledged that he had been instructed that Emma would be the new owner of the account. He told Emma that the bank was a very old institution that existed long before his time, and that the bookstore was the bank's oldest customer. His father, grandfather, and great-grandfather had managed the bank. Before that, he was not sure. He told Emma that along with the bank account there was a safety deposit box in the vault. He took her to the vault and showed her the box. It was the largest box in the vault. The manager handed her the key and explained that she would have access to the box at any time. The key felt warm in her hand when it was given to her, and it glowed slightly with a greenish tone. She opened the box when the manager left. It was full of all types of items, old parchments and envelopes with wax seals. There were gold coins and precious gems. This was too much, and would have to wait for another day. One night, as Emma sat behind the counter, trying to make sense of everything, the bell above the door rang. A man stepped inside. He was tall, with a presence that felt out of place in the tiny shop. His eyes, unnaturally bright, glowing with a faint blue hue, fixed on her. He moved with deliberate precision, scanning the shelves as if searching for something. Then he approached the counter. "I need a book," he said. His voice was smooth, but something about it made her skin crawl. Emma swallowed hard. "Which one?" His lips curled into something that wasn't quite a smile. "You'll know it when you see it." Her breath caught. Something about him felt wrong, dangerous. He placed a single hand on the wooden counter and traced a symbol into the surface. It burned, pulsing with light for a fraction of a second, before fading into nothingness. The man stepped back, his glowing gaze locked onto hers. "You are the librarian now. Choose wisely." And then, just like that, he vanished. Emma Caldwell had never believed in destiny, but as she stared at the strange symbol etched in the dust into the counter, the weight of her inheritance began to settle upon her. This was more than just a bookstore, more than just a collection of old books. This was something else, something dangerous. And whether she liked it or not, she had just become its guardian.
If you enjoy these stories, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.